हरि ओम् वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करभावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste friends. Team Param Vedanta welcomes you all to session 4 of Mananam series. In our last session, we saw how Yamadharmaraja tries to dissuade Nachiketas from seeking knowledge about death and thereafter, and how Nachiketas stays firm on his request. So, Nachiketas passes the tests given by Lord Yama, thereby establishing that he has the right qualifications to pursue Gnana. Just as a student is happy to get a competent teacher, that latter is also happy to get a competent student like Nachiketas. In the second Valli, the first 13 verses, Lord Yama glorifies the student in general and then Nachiketas particularly, Shishya Stuti. This will be followed by glorification of teacher Acharya Stuti and then of the teaching itself, Vidya Stuti. The teaching between the rare teacher and a rare student is also rare, Sarvam Ascharyam. This will be the topic in the first half of the second section. Brahma Vidya introduction starts in verse 14. Today, our revered Guru, Dr. Tima Pegde sir, will take up mantras 1 to 7, where Yamadharmaraja glorifies Nachiketas. That will be followed by the teaching quiz by Dr. Anupama to clear doubts, if any, in our understanding. But now, let's listen to Hegde sir first. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Venkatesh ji, for a very nice introduction. Sadashiva-samarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya Mrityave Brahma Vidyacharyaya Nachiketa Secha. We are studying Kathopanishad once again, but with the focus on Mananam. Mananam is a process of removing all doubts about the teaching that we have received already during Shravanam. The objective of Mananam is whatever knowledge that we have got from Kathopanishad, whatever scriptural knowledge, now should become a firm conviction to such an extent that it will issue out in action. That means every thought from now on, every word, every action is based on the scriptural understanding that we have had, because scriptural knowledge is now doubt-free. In the last class, we saw Nachiketa asking for the last boon. When Nachiketa asked for boon 1 and boon 2, immediately Yamadharmaraja said Tatastu. That means the boon for his father and the boon for that Nachiketa Agni that will take us all to the higher lokas was granted without any doubt. When Nachiketa asked this question, Yeyam Prite Vichikitsa Manushye, which means he said, what happens when a person dies? And he is asking the great teacher, Yamadharmaraja himself. But Yamadharmaraja was able to immediately understand now that he is not asking a very simple question because he knows about the subtle body. He is asking for Atma Jnanam. This is a very loaded question. Now there is a shift from Karma Kanda to Jnana Kanda. And the entire Kathopanishad is an answer to this question. And that helps us to prepare for our own death and to be able to understand death is an event that happens to my body-mind, but I will not die, because in the course of this understanding through Mananam, we are clear about what I am Atma Brahma. This body mind is only incidental. So, all this we saw about what is death, how the subtle body separates from the gross body, and so on. Now, because this is a very pertinent question, and this is a question of teaching somebody about Atma Jnanam, Yama Dharmaraja, the Brahma Vidya Acharya, who was also a Shrotriya Brahmanishta, wanted to be certain that the student is a deserving student. He is a deserving student, and therefore he used logic to say it is an extremely subtle knowledge that you will not be able to understand. What you, even gods, do not understand. It is extremely difficult. Uh, but then he was able to turn around that logic. If gods do not understand, then it is important for me, and where will I get a teacher like you? To counteract and see if he has that kind of mumukshutvam and that vairagya, all forms of temptation in the form of wealth, pleasure, and security, which all of us would fall for, was offered to Nachiketa. What happened? Why did he give this test? Because Atma Jnanam can be given only to somebody who's mentally ready to sacrifice all these things, to be able to sacrifice pleasure, to be able to sacrifice security, long life, and wealth. That means to somebody who has a Tivra Vairagyam, somebody who's ready to lose anything in this world, in this Mithya world, at any time. Nachiketa demonstrates that he has Vairagya, which is based on Viveka. And he gives those two famous verses, Shobhava. Whatever you are offering to me may not be there, Abhava Shwa, tomorrow. And na vittena tarpaniya manushya. All of us as human beings do not have tripti through any amount of money. We all know that money cannot buy happiness, it cannot buy purnatvam, it cannot buy shanti, it cannot buy security or immortality. We also know by now that happiness does not depend on what I have, happiness depends on what I am. He says, having met you, one thing is certain, you will give me whatever money that I need, and you will also bless me with long life. Why should I waste my boon? Also saying that he does not negate the value of money, or does he not negate the value of long life, but he knows that these things are very small compared to Brahma Vidya. And Nachiketa concluded in the last class by demonstrating Vairagyam, which is based on Viveka. And what did he say? He says this boon of Atma Vidya is not something ordinary. It is not easily accessible for a lot of people. And now that I have got a teacher like you, I can't expect somebody better. I want this and this only. So that was how the last Valli concluded. And in today's class, Mananam session 4, let us look at mantras 1 to 7. Each of these mantras I will explain to the extent I have understood. And I will be very repetitious. Why? Because I want you to get each word of these mantras of Kathopanishad, because all these mantras are important. And at the end of today's session, we will also have a teaching quiz. Dr. Anupama, so listen with what is said now, that as if I'm preparing for an examination where I'm going to be answered, where I have to answer questions on these mantras. Starting Valli 2, Yamadharmaraja introduces the greatness of choice. All human beings have a choice. We have a certain free will. And he gives two choices. Now, remember, he's now praising Yamadharmaraja, Nachiketa, for making the correct choice. And what are the two choices? One is called preyas, which is also the karma marga, which is very attractive and which involves yoga and kshema. Yoga means to acquire more and more things in this beautiful world, and kshema is to be able to preserve it. Remember, this is a karma marga, not a karma yoga marga. For all students of Vedanta, karma yoga is not different from jnana yoga. Jnana yoga, karma yoga is an integral part of jnana yoga. The other path he speaks about is Shreyas. Shreyas is the path of Jnana Yoga. And this is the path we are given an option to. So these are two distinct paths. That means one is a path where you have to struggle, where you have to do something. The other is a path where you have to know, where you go to a guru, where you surrender and be available. So these are two distinct paths with two distinct destinations. Later in this Valli itself, the Ratha Kalpana is given. So a lot of verses in this Valli, maybe the next Valli, I think. It may be in Valli number 3. In Valli number 3, you have the Ratha Kalpana. And in the Ratha Kalpana, you have an example of the different components. And you will remember the Bhagavad Gita in the Sthita Prajna portion where Sri Krishna says, whenever you have a doubt between Shreyas and preyas, he does not use these words. Yukta asita matparaha. Can you put me on your driver's seat exactly what Arjuna did? If you are, whenever you have a doubt in every action, remember we are in a Mananam class. That means from now on, various choices will come. How do I spend my time? How do I prioritize the rest of my life? Am I going to choose the path of yoga kshema? That means to acquire and to preserve what I have got, or am I going to the path of jnana? Now, at this time, put Sri Krishna on the driver's seat. Yukta asita matparaha, and your choices will become very clear. With that, we come to mantra number 1. All the mantras in today's class, that means mantras 1 to mantra 7, is uh, Bhagwan Sri Yama Dharmaraja Uvacha. So how this is how it goes. Anyat Shreya, Anyat Uta Eva Preya. So these are two distinct paths. Ube Nanarte Purusham Sinitaha. So the Shreya all or the Preya, they bind us. What does he say? Tayo Shreya Adadanasya Sadhu Bhavati. Whenever you have made a right choice, the teacher uses the word sadhu. Oh, sadhu. Sadhu means you are a viveki, you are a great person. If you choose Shreya, you are a sadhu. Hiyate arthat. Hiyate means to lose. Arthat, the highest possession, the highest goal possible is lost if a person preyaha pranite. If a person chooses the pleasant path. What is the pleasant path? Now, pleasant path is also dharma, artha, and kama. It is not an immoral or a bad path. It is what we normally spend to. So as we evolve, we have to make that choice. Am I going through the path of dharmartha kama or going through that narrow path of parama purushartha? Why does dharmartha kama attract so many of us? Because basically we have ajnanam, avidya, kama, karma. And we think of some fulfillment immediately because the fulfillment of moksha purushartha we don't see immediately. Also, there is a fear of certain effort. Shreyas requires lot of qualifications. We saw that all this knowledge is given only when a person has some of the qualities of Nachiketa like Shraddha, Vairagya, and so on. Also true is the power of Maya over us is so much. So Maya is so attractive, and the attractive Maya pulls us in the direction of Dharma, Artha, Kama. And so the path of Shreyas gets postponed to next life. For those of us now in this class, we have to see ourselves as Dhiraha. Dhi means intellect. A person who has put Sri Krishna on the driver's seat. When Sri Krishna is in our driver's seat, we have that viveka to see beyond appearances. And therefore, once there is viveka, vairagya automatically happens. And now we have made that choice. I want Parama Purushartha and nothing else. This is called Tivra Mumukshutvam. So we are still in the first verse. Shreya Anyat. Shreya is one. Preya eva Anyat. These are word by word. Shreya is one. Preya is the other. Nanarthe. These two have different goals. They have different destinations. Sini Sinitaha Purushaha. Both of them bind a person. Now, even though Moksha Purushartha is binding, this is the preferable bondage compared to Dharmartha and Kama. Shreya Adadanasya, for one who chooses Shreya, Bhavati Sadhu. Such a person is treated as a great person, a sadhu. Preya ya vrinite, one who chooses prayers, uhiyate arthat. Very unfortunately, that person is deprived of the highest goal in this human life. Remember, Manushutvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha, all these three things are extremely difficult. Now let us look at the word Shreya because each of these words have got two meanings. One word of the meaning of the word Shreya is moksha. That means our goal is moksha. Shreya also means self-knowledge as a means to moksha. So it means two things. It means moksha and also the path that leads to moksha. So to preya has got two meanings. One meaning is dharmartha kama, all of which are anityaha, and the means to dharmartha kama is through the karma marga, through action. Preya is attractive and desired by most. Shreya is good. One thing is clear, we cannot follow both simultaneously because they are uh, they are divergent paths. And going towards one, you will move away from the other. And one who follows prayer will be deprived from the supreme goal. With that, we complete the first mantra. Let us look at Anvaya. Anvaya means when you make it in prose form, the same mantra becomes more easy to understand. Shreya Anyat Uta Eva Preya Anyat. Nanarte te ube Purushaha Sinitaha. तयो श्रेयः आददानस्य साधु भवति यः उप्रेयः वृणुते सः अर्थात् हि हीयते. By now we know the meaning of this. Let us go to mantra number 2. Mantra number 2 is a very, very popular mantra, very often quoted. Shreyascha preyascha manushya etah. So there are two parts, Shreyas and preyas. Now I'm not going to explain because we know the meaning of this. Now in every moment of our life, we have this choice. Am I choosing the path of Shreyas or am I choosing the path of Dharmartha or Kama? Now some paritye vivinekta dhiraha. Dhiraha means a person who's anchored in what is that? Yukta asita matparaha. If I have put Sri Krishna on my driver's seat, then I am a dhiraha. I am lodged in the intellect. Then what I have the ability of vivinikta. Vivinikta means one who's able to dissect, one who's able to make a clear separation. How? Samparitya. After a proper examination between moksha and dharmartha kama. Shreya hi dhiraha preyasya abhivrinite. Now, when I have the choice between, I will put aside prayer for Shreya. Why? Preya manda yogakshemat vrinite. Whereas the person who chooses prayer, he chooses it. Why? Because he gives a lot of importance to yoga and kshema. I have mentioned this. I will mention this again. What is the glory of a human being? We have a free choice. A person who's aviveki, that means a person who is in the level of the mind, not in the level of the intellect, spends all the time in yoga and kshema, acquiring and protecting possessions. The intelligent one, Vedanta uses the word dhiraha, leaves the responsibility of acquisition and protection to a large extent to the Lord. That means we are responsible for our life. Sri Krishna does not say be irresponsible, but we have to take care. But let that not be a concern, because we have there is that beautiful word. I think it may come sometime. Ananya chintayantoma ye jana pariupasate, where yoga kshema comes. Let me go through these words once again. Shreyaha cha preyaha cha. That means Shreyas and preyas. Yetaha manushyam, they approach a human being. Samparitya tau, both of them you have to clearly consider. Dhiraha, V means intellect. What does the dhira do? Vivinakti, that means he will dissect, he will discriminate, he will be very clear about them. So, Diraha Abhivrinete, he is able to make a choice on Shreyas rather than preyas. Now, those who go for Yoga Kshema, the scriptures call them as Mandaha, as Bhajagovindam calls them Mudaha. Vrinite Preya, for the sake of Yoga Kshema. Ananya chintayantoma ye jana paripasate tesham ityabhiyuktainam yogakshema vahamyaham. This is a beautiful word, vahamyaham. Vahamyaham means I will take care of your yoga and kshema. For those people who ananya chintayantoma, who all the time keep me in their thoughts, and therefore who will follow a life based on my own teachings. Ye jana paryupasate, how do they worship me? Ananya, in a way as not apart from Bhagavan, or who think of Bhagavan alone and not anything else. Nityabhyukta, firmly anchored. To such a person, this is Sri Krishna's promise, and we all have Shraddha on the words of the Bhagavad Gita that my yoga kshema is taken care of, but I have to be of this character, Ananya Chintayantoma and Paryupasate. Swami Paramarthananda ji, whenever he introduces any topic, talks about anything in this world has got three doshas. Anything in the relative world. One is dukkha mishritvam, atriptikaratvam, and bandhakatvam. If there is one thing that we is free from all doshas, and that is our true nature. And therefore, we have to move from the pleasant path, preyas, to the path of Shreya. Let us see how we can make an anvaya of this Shreyasya preyasya verse. Shreyaha cha preyaha cha manushyam etaha. Dhira tau samparitya vivinekti. Dhira hi preyas Shreya abhivrunate. So the Dhiraha chooses Shreya. Yoga kshemat manda preya vrinite. Whereas for Yoga kshema, the manda person will choose the path of preya. We come to verse number 3. Satvam. Now remember, this is again the word of Yamadharmaraja. Who's Tvam? He's referring to Nachiketa. Priyan, Priyarupan, Sakaman. Priyan means all the pleasant and those with very pleasant forms. Abhidhyayan, I offered you all such delightful things. Abhidhyayan, after thinking, Nachiketa asatha srikshi. I mean, he rejected all of them. Atis sriksham. So you rejected after abhidhyayan. After properly choosing, you have rejected them. Not only all those pleasurable things and all the wealth in the world and all the power in the world, also naitam shrinkam. Remember, I gave that very vittamayi garland. Avaktaha. You refuse them. Yasyam majanti bhavaha manushya, which most people would revel, would enjoy such a thing. This is mantra number 3. Let us see how it goes. Nachiketa. This is Sambodha. That is, he is referring to, O Nachiketa, Abhidhyayan, having considered both Priyan and Priya Rupan, the pleasing and the attractive Kaman, various sense objects. Satvam Atyasrakshi. You clearly discarded all of them. Not only that, na avaptaha, you refuse to accept yetam vittamai. I offered you, remember, I took out that most precious jewel of mine, shrinkam. Yasyam bahavaha manusya, which most people majanti, get immersed in, get soaked in. You refused all that. So we are looking at the greatness of Nachiketa. So in the next few verses, you will see how the teacher is so happy to have a student like Nachiketa. He says, Nachiketa, you rejected both the pleasing and the attractive sense objects. How did you do that? You did abhidhyayan after a careful consideration. You did not accept that shrinkam, that precious necklace, vittamai, which is so precious, which most people get carried away. Why? You had viveka janya vairagya. You had dispassion based on discrimination. Just like this, there is a story, and we see always this moment when the Pattabhishekam moment. At that moment, when Rama comes back to Ayodhya, and Rama, Sita, Lakshmana, Hanuman are all together. And this is such a fulfilling moment. At that moment, it is said Sita takes out her most precious jewel and hands it over to Lord Hanuman. And Hanuman, Abhidhyayan, he looks at it and tells Rama, see, when I have Rama Nama, which is so precious, everything else fades it. So he very respectfully declines a gift and he returns a gift. And whenever this shrinkam is refused, teachers refer to this example. All we come to, let us see Anvaya, the verse number 3. He Nachiketaha Priyan Priyarupan Kaman Cha Abhidhyayan. I offered you all these pleasing things. Sahatvam Atyasrakshi. You rejected all of them. Tvam Yetam Vittamai Shrinkam Na Avaptaha. You refused also that precious necklace that I gave you. Yasyam Bahavaha Manushya Majanti, which a lot of human beings, others would have reveled on. Let us come to verse number 4, mantra number 4. Now he's talking about the same Shreyas and preyas. It is not possible to follow both these paths because they are divergent paths. The words he uses are this: Duram ete viparite. Duram means far, viparite means they are divergent. Visuchi. Visuchi is supposed to be a Chandas Prayoga. It is not grammatically correct, but they have different objectives. And what is the difference in the two? One is avidya and the other path is of vidya. One is like the dark path. What is the dark path? That is the path we all follow, yoga and kshema. That is the path of karma. Avidya and vidya. These are the two paths. And he praises Nachiketa. You are vidya abhipsinam. You have chosen the path of vidya. Nachiketa Sam Manye, I declare that you have chosen the path of Vidya. Natva Kamaha Bahavaha Alulopanta. See, you were not tempted by all those attractive things, and that is why I declare you as a person eligible for the path of Brahma Vidya. So, the meaning of this mantra number 4 is this: these two diverse courses, which are known as ignorance and knowledge, are far divergent. I consider Nachiketa to be a seeker of knowledge. Numerous objects did not tempt you. Let us look at word by word. Yete Visuchi. These are two diverse courses. Ya Jnata, which are known as iti avidya cha vidya. One is the path of knowledge and the other path is the path of ignorance. Duram viparite, which are divergent. Manye Nachiketasam, I consider you Vidya Abhipsinam, a person who is a seeker of knowledge. Bahavaha Kama, numerous times I tempted you, but you were na alulopanta. You were not tempted by all that I gave you, and therefore I am passing the verdict that you have passed the test. So, repetition again, the path of Shreya and prayer. As I said, this is a Mananam topic. In Mananam topic, let us look at each of these verses to see how they can enter into our subconscious and help us to make the choices in our life. The path of prayer, the pleasant path, and the path of Shreya, the path which we are scripturally enjoined to go, are diagonally opposite. One must reject the other to follow the path of Shreyas. The path of Preya or Kama perpetuates avidya. You remember? Avidya, Kama, Karma, Punarjanma, and so on. Whereas the path of Shreya or Jnanam Yoga promotes Vidya. So one is the path of Karma Marga, is an Avidya Marga. Why are these two divergent? We know our basic problem is the problem of Hridaya Granthi, that is Avidya, Kama, uh, and then karma. Whenever you do karma, then there is punya or papa, and that leads to punarjanma. That is a vicious cycle. The other is the path of jnanam. And I've tempted you with numerous sense objects, and you pass the test. So, duram viparite. The word viparite means they are opposite. The path of vidya, which leads to bondage. The path of avidya that leads to bondage, and the path of vidya that leads to freedom. Visuchi. These are two divergent paths. Let us see how this word is broken up into prose form or anvaya. Yaha avidya iti jnata cha vidya yete vishuchi. Duram viparite Nachiketasam vidyapisinam manye bahavaha kama tvam na alulupantaha. That is verse 4. With that, we come to another very famous verse. We have studied this when we studied Mundakopanishad, and then there is a slight variation between that in Mundakopanishad and in Kathopanishad. You will see that there are many mantras which will be common in both these Upanishads, and the first one is this one. Avidyayam antare vartamanaha swayam dhiraha panditam manyamane dhandramyamana pariyanti mudaha ande naiva niyamana yata andaha. So word for word meaning is steeped in ignorance. Avidyayam antare, considering themselves to be wise. Vidyayam antare vartamanaha, learned, and they move around wandering all over just like the blind led by the blind. Antare vartamanaha. Now these are all descriptions. What is the description? Antare vartamanaha. That means steeped in what? Avidyayam, in ignorance. Manyamana, although many of us would be steeped in ignorance, Manyamana, we consider ourselves to be Swayam Dhiraha, to be wise. And not only wise, learned, Panditam. Then what happens? Mudaha, such a person actually is Mudaha. Pariyanti, this is the only verb, all the others are descriptions. The verb says Pariyanti. That means such a person keeps on going round and round. Dhandramya mana, again and again they keep wandering around. Yatha andaha niyamanaha, is led by andena eva, just like one blind person is led by another person. So steeped in ignorance, but they think they are wise. They keep going around in circles. like a blind person led by the blind. Human birth is extremely rare. It is too precious to lose it. Three things: Manushyattvam, we have. Mumukshutvam, all of us have. That is why we are attending these classes. And we are blessed to have great gurus who are Ananya Prokta, who are Shrotriya Brahmanishta. So let us make full use of this opportunity. This is the same mantra in Pundaka. In the Pundaka, it goes like this: Avidyayam antare vartamana swayam dhiraha pandita manyamane janghanyamana. Janghanyamana means being tossed around. Here is dandramya manaya, again and again doing the wrong things. And janghanya mana means being tossed around. Pariyanti, they go round, round, just like ande naiva niyamana yata andaha. So this is that mantra. And let us see how the anvaya of this verse goes out. Avidyayam antare vartamanaha dhiraha panditam swayam manyamanaha dhandramyamana moodaha pariyante andena eva niyamanaha anda yata pariyanti. That is the prose form. When it comes in prose form, it is easy for us to understand. We come to the second last mantra of today's class. Now, why this? Why many people choose the path of the pleasant path of uh, preyas and not the path of Shreyas? This is explained in this mantra. Na samparaya pratibhati balam pramadyantam vitta mohena modam ayam loka nasti para iti mani puna punar vasham apadeti me. They again and again fall in my trap. This is Yamadharmaraja saying. Na samparaya. Samparaya, one meaning is scriptural discipline. Scriptural discipline does not appeal to the indiscriminate. That means the aviveki. Pramadyantya, that means negligent, who's deluded. Why? Vitta mohena, because of his infatuation with wealth. They believe that this world alone is real and there is nothing beyond, and therefore they come under my grip again and again. That is why we have uh, in the Bhajagovandam, no? Bhagavad Gita Kinchida Dita. Then if you study the scriptural study, you are able to free yourself from the grip of Tasya Yamena Charcha. You get out of Yama's list. Have patience. Let us will go through each of these words. Samparaya. Samparaya means both scriptural knowledge and the path of something of the beyond. It includes the ritualistic path as well as the spiritual. It includes both the paths. That means this path of something beyond this world, Samparaya, na pratibhati. Bhati means illumined or shined. It does not appeal to Balam. Balam means those who are not mature, who are still childlike. Pramadhyanta. Pramadhyanta means one who is careless, negligent. Moodaha. Deluded. Deluded by what? Vitta mohena. By the attraction for wealth. And what do they say? And we see this all around. Ayam lokaha. This world alone is asti na paraha. There is nothing beyond. Iti mani. They assume this. Apadyate. They come under me vasham, under my grip. Puna punaha. Again and again. So the verse is na samparaya balaha. Immature. Samparaya means something beyond this life or something of the ultimate. Vitta mohena, they are tempted by this. Scriptural wisdom does not appeal, and therefore, Bhagavad Gita, I told you, Kinchida Dita, and how to get free from the grip of Yamadharmaraja. Samparaya means giving importance to scriptures and giving importance to something beyond this life. These people have wrong priorities in this precious human life. Why? Because of infatuation for wealth, which gives physical comfort and entertainment. They have no time for introspection. They believe only in this world. There are only two purusharthas, artha and kama, and these people will come under my grip, says Yama Dharmaraja. Let us say, what is the Anvaya? Pramadantam vitta mohena mudam bhala samparaya na bhati. Bhati means this does not create any light in them. It does not produce any light. It does not attract them. Ayam loke asti. Only this world exists. Para na asti. Iti mani. And therefore, puna puna me vasham apad apadete. They fall into my trap. With that, we come to the last mantra of today's class, a very beautiful and often quoted. And there is a mantra very similar to this in the Bhagavad Gita also. Let's charge this. Shravanayapi bahu biryo na labhyaha shrunvanto api bahuvaha yam na vidyu ascharyo vakta kushala asya labda ascharyo gnata kushala anushishtaha. Yaha means this Atma, which is extremely subtle and difficult to know. Na labhyaha is not available. Api shravanaya, even for listening. How many people are able to listen to about this bahu bihi to many people? Api shrunvanta, in spite of listening, bahavaha, many people, na vidyuhu, they are not able to understand yam, about this Atma. Bhakta, that means the one who reveals this Atma, Ascharya, is indeed a wonder. Labda asya, such a person who discovers this Atma, kushalaha. Kushalaha, it says wonder. Kushalaha means the one who is skilled. Kushala anishtaha. Here we are talking about that person who, instructed by the teacher, who's able to get jnata. Such a person is also a wonder. So what is the wonder? The teacher is a wonder. The student who gets this knowledge is a wonder. And we are here talking about the glory of Brahma Vidya. The glory of Brahma Vidya is what? It is something extremely rare. The three things are very rare. This Atma is not available for listening also to many people. So the Brahma Vidya is rare. Second is, in spite of listening to this, many people do not understand. The one who reveals this is wonder, and the one who discovers, that means a student who understands this, is also a wonder. What is this Atma? Now, even though we go on the path of yoga kshema, that means we go into all the acquisition in the world, all of us are seeking Atma. What are we seeking? We are seeking something limitless, but we do not know what we are seeking is limitless. That is why this Atma is so mysterious, so incomprehensible. We do not know that this is the only source of permanent peace, security, and happiness. We do not know this is our real self. We do not know that the seeker is the sought, that I don't have to look for it outside. I have to look for it in myself. Uh, in the Bhagavad Gita, the same verse comes where there is a humorous aspect added to it, where it is said that in spite of years of listening also, not only is a teacher a wonder, not only is a student a wonder, the great wonder is a person may be listening to a great teacher for a long time, but still you manage not to understand about this Atma. What is the one big problem about Atma which we as students of Mananam have to get out? Remember, Atma is not an object. The biggest mistake we, in all our studies, whenever we study anything, let's say we study any object, from a medical angle, I will use the example of studying the brain or the heart. Now, when I'm wanting to study, I see this as an object. So, Atma is not an object. Now, it is the very subject, and trying to study the Atma as an object becomes the great problem. So, the great wonder is Vedanta points out that what you are seeking is yourself, and therefore, the greatest discovery is to be able to find out that what I was always searching for is none other than myself. Brahman, remember, is not a new substance revealed by Vedanta. It is a new status I discover to myself, and I discover that I'm not just this body mind complex. But when somebody tells you Tatitvam Asi, and when I say Aham Brahmasmi, I recognize that that conscious factor that made me understand is none other than that limitless Brahman, just like Karna was told by his mother Kunti that he is a Kshatriya and he is her son. So the final verse will be the Anvaya of this verse. Yaha Shravanaya api bahubihi na labhyaha. Yaha Shrunvantaha api bahavaha na viduhu. Bhakta Ascharya Asya Labda Kushalaha Kushala Anishtaha Jnata Ascharya. This is the verse of great wonder. With this, we conclude the formal learning of these verses. I will request Dr. Anupama to come on and ask us certain questions to see how much we have understood of this particular valley. Dr. Anupama, please.
Thank you, sir. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Based on what we have just heard, a few questions. The spiritual goal is called which of these? Shreyas, Shreyaha, Nishreyasam, Mokshaha, Paramarthika Purusharthaha, or all of the above?
All of them look like synonyms, so it should be all of the above.
That's right. The means to this Shreyas is Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, or none of the above?
It is Jnana Yoga.
That's right. So in this mantra 1, which you have very well explained to us, Anyat Shreyaha, Anyat Uta Eva Preyaha, Te Ube Nanarthi Purusham Sinitaha. You told us Sinita is draw. They're like two paths which have been laid before us, Shreyaha and Preyaha. Tayo Shreyaha Adadanasya Sadhu Bhavati. The person who chooses Shreya becomes Sadhu, means Shobhati. He shines forth. Whereas Hiyate Arthat Upreyaha Vrinitaha. The one who chooses prayer, Hiyate, means he's a loser of this very great moksha purushartha which we have as human beings. So, what are the differences between Shreya and Preya Marga?
There are many differences, like the path of light and the path of darkness. See, the path of Shreya is the path of knowledge, whereas the other path, Preya, is the path of karma. So one is the path to limitless, the other the path of dharma, artha, and kama. One is binary format, the other is triangular format. Please tell us.
Okay. There are a few differences. As you already said, one is Jnana Marga, Vidya Marga, the other is Karma Marga or Avidya Marga. The features of Shreya Marga is the goal is moksha. It makes a person a sadhu, means Shivam, Shobhanam Bhavati. The phalam is Bimbananda. It is the desirable path, although difficult, therefore chosen by few. It depends upon inner strength, maturity, and mastery, and it is a primary purushartha. The preya or avidya marga, here the goal is dharmartha karma. It is for the deluded, the vimudhas who have deprived themselves of this moksha purushartha. What they get ultimately is only Vishayananda. It is appealing, it's attractive and naturally liked. It is chosen by the majority and it's acquired deliberately and legitimately from the outside, from the world outside. And it is a secondary Purushartha. So in this verse, Shreyaha Preyasya Manushyam Ete Tau Samparitya Vivinakta Dhiraha. Despite Shreya Marga being the superior one, we've seen all the good qualities of it. Why do a majority of people choose Preya Marga?
One is it is prayer is very attractive. There are immediate results, and all of us are clouded by ignorance. We do not know our true nature. That is because of avidya, kama, karma. That vicious cycle attracts us.
Yes. So the example is given of this mythological swan, Yata Hamsa iva ambasaha payasto. Just as a mythological swan separates milk from water, so also Shreyaha Preyaha Padarthau Samparitya Vivinakti Dhiraha. Important is Dhiraha. You need to be a discriminative person to distinguish between the two, and only then you select. Next slide, please. The intelligent and discriminative people are very rare because they know the limitations of karma palam are bandhanakatvam, atriptikatvam, and dukkha mishritatvam. They're very limited and finite. Next slide, please. So, understanding meaning of Purushartha. We should know what Purushartha means. Does the word Purushartha mean Manushyartha, free will or choice, effort or prayatna, exclusive goal of human beings with a rational faculty, or all of the above?
Should be all of the above.
That's right. So, I will give you a list of words. You please identify to which of these Purusharthas, Artha, Kama, Dharma, or Moksha they belong. Mukti,
Mukti is Parama Purushartha or Moksha Purushartha.
Yoga Kshema,
Artha Kama,
invisible wealth,
Dharma,
Shreyaha,
Moksha.
Abhaya Prapyartham,
Fearlessness may be coming from Artha Purushartha.
Abhaya. You have got Abhaya Prapyartham. Means it should be moksha, no?
Artha Purushartha? Oh,
Moksha.
Okay, Moksha Purushartha.
You have reached us, you're trying for Abhaya, maybe Yoga Kshema, I'm thinking. Okay. Luxury, comfort, entertainment,
Kama Purushartha.
procured for security of self,
Artha Purushartha.
Adrishtam.
This is definitely Dharma Purushartha. Do you want to go through the answers?
Yeah. Okay. So, Abhaya Prapyartham. Abhaya Prapyartham means you're always insecure and you're reaching for security. So, it is Artha Purushartham. Okay. And Kama is luxury, comfort, entertainment. Dharma is Adrishtam, invisible wealth. Moksha is Shreya and Mukti.
Proceed.
Yes, please. So we've seen these two margas, Shreya and Preya. Is it possible for a person to choose both Shreya and Preya margas simultaneously?
No, because they are divergent. They have distinct goals. And when you go on one path, you're going away from the other path.
That's right. So Yamadharmaraja says it's not possible because Ete Vishuchi means path, Duram Vipariti Bhavate. The paths are distinctly different and far divergent. One is Avidya, other is Vidya. Preyas is of the choice of Avivekis, while Shreyas is the choice of Vivekis. Preyas is a means of samsara and Shreyas of moksha. They cannot coexist in one person simultaneously. Avidyam antare manyamanaha swayam dhira panditam manyamana. So this is what vartamanaha and manyamanaha. So this is what you have explained in depth. So what are the three expressions of ignorance?
Avidya, Kama, Karma.
Absolutely right. So ignorant people are unaware that they are ignorant and consider themselves wise. That's tragic. So we have this sequel. Can you just put the next slide, please? So avidya leads to kama. The insecurity of ignorance makes us do work. And to do work, we do a lot of karmas for acquiring things. And every karma based upon the motive gets us papa and punya and then punarjanma. Yata andaha niyamana andhena eva. So andaha means lacking the eye of
Discrimination.
viveka. That's right. Choose from below. The deficiency is compounded by them being led by an
Aviveki.
right. So in this same verse, avidyam antare vartamanaha swayam dhira panditam manyamana. Dhandrandhyamana literally means to wander. But what does it refer to here? Where does who wander?
Go wander from one life to another. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam.
Yes. And what is the path chosen by these people?
The path of prayer.
Prayer. Okay. Avidyam antare vartamana, steeped or entangled in the darkness of ignorance. We are what are we entangled in as avivekis?
What are we entangled in? Ignorance only.
That's right. But Swamiji has an acronym.
Okay.
Our possessions, our obligations, relationships, and transactions bind us to this samsara.
Good.
Okay. So here we see na sampariya pratibhati balam. That means the immature, indiscriminate people are not, they do not find scriptural discipline appealing. Pramadhantam vitta mohena mudham. They are the deluded people are the negligent, deluded ones are so fascinated by wealth that they don't go beyond it. Ayam loke nasti param iti mani. They think that there is no life beyond this, there is no world beyond this. And punaha punaha vasham apadyate. Again and again they get entrapped into my snare. That means their life is limited only to the life of a human being. So Yama Dharmaraja describes the vices of people who get ensnared by the trap of Janana Marana cycle. Can you please mention them according to what is given in this verse?
Okay, all right. Samparaya. Samparaya means the spiritual knowledge or something higher does not attract them.
That's right.
Balam. Balam means a person is immature. Pramodantya. That means they are pramada, negligent. Vitta mohena muda. Muda means deluded by vitta, infatuation to wealth. I am loke. They think this world alone is real and nothing beyond that, and therefore they are trapped.
That's right. Should we do this or you have...
Please go ahead.
Okay. Na samparaya means shunning scriptural discipline. Some means certainly, samyak, and para is after death. I is to reach. Balam is indiscriminate people. Pramadyantam is negligent. Mudham are the deluded. Vitta moham, infatuated by wealth. Ayam lokam asti, belief that there is no life after death. Na paraha. All these have been described in the Asuri Sampat chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So, why does Yamadharma Raja say Punaha Puraha Vasham Apadyate? See, a person choosing prayer marga will come under my grip again and again. Why does he say again and again?
Because they have Punarapi Jananam and then they go into his trap again. Because when you're born again, you're born into the time cycle, aging, sickness.
Yes, this time cycle is very short compared to those people who have gone to the higher lokas. So the Swarga Loka people have a relatively longer life, and those of Brahma Loka even longer. So, and those who attain moksha, of course, they don't come back again. So these Vimudas have birth and death more frequently in accordance to their karma palams, and so they get into the fold of Yamadharmaraja. Okay, this verse has been very well explained by you. Shravana api bahubhihi ayam na labhyaha. So many people do not get a chance to even listen anything about Atma. And shrunvanto api bahavaha na vidyuhu. Even after listening, many people do not understand. Ascharyaha bhaktaha kushalaha asya labdaha. Very, very surprising or very rare is that scholar who can reveal this Atma, and Ascharya Jnataha Kushalaha Anushishtaha. And very, very rare and strange is the fact that a student can understand what this Shrotriya Brahmanishta has taught. Okay, based on this, let's answer these questions. So in this line, yaha na labhyaha api shravanaya bahubihi. The word yaha refers to, you can choose from the block below.
Yaha should be Atma.
No, that's right. So vakta acharyaha. Vaktaha ascharyaha. Here the vakta is described by three words. What are they?
Shrotriya Brahmanishta.
Labda asya kushalaha. Asya means?
Asya means the Acharya.
No. What are you getting?
Atma Jnanam.
That's right. This labda can also be called a person who gets this jnanam is also a.
Jnani.
That's right. Because atmavit apnoti param. So, Kushalanu-shishta Jnata Acharya. The Kushalanu-shishta is a three words.
Kushalanu-shishta is through Guru Shastra Upadesha.
That is, a Kushalanu-shishta is a teacher, and the three words that you use to describe this teacher is?
Shrotriya Brahmanishta.
So we've answered it. Yaha na labhya api shravanaya bahubihi. Yaha refers to Atma. Vakta ascharyaha. This Vakta is the teacher, a Brahmanishta Shrotriya. Labda asya kushalaha. Asya means Atma. The Labda is a Jnani. So Atma Jnanam gives moksha. There is no difference between knowing and becoming Brahma. Kushalanu-shishta Jnata Ascharya. Kushalanu-shishta is a Shrotriya Brahmanishta. So, Shrunvanto api bahavaha na vidyuhu. So, in spite of intensive teaching by a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru, many of us do not understand what is the meaning of the word vidyuhu. Don't all of us understand, but still they say we don't understand. What do you mean by the word vidyuhu?
Vidyuhu means to understand that what I am looking for is none other than myself. That means to be, if that knowledge is not pratyaksha or paroksha, but aparokshataya.
Right. The word is aparokshataya. So we should understand Atma aparokshataya, not as an object of experience, but as being ourselves. Aham Brahma Asmi. There should be no hiatus between receiving the knowledge and realizing Aham Brahma Asmi. Understanding of Brahma Jnanam and gaining of liberation are identical and simultaneous. I think that's the end, no? Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha.
Thank you, Dr. Hegde sir, for taking us through the glorification of Nachiketas by none other than Yamadharmaraja himself. Truly, Nachiketas is a role model to all seekers who embark on the spiritual path. Thank you, Anupama Madam, for that beautiful teaching piece, which no doubt cements our understanding and clears our doubts, if any. Hope all of you are enjoying this series in which our sir has been trying to teach us this very profound Upanishad in as simple way as possible. We have to be Nachiketas to grasp it. Thank you, dear friends, for your interest, for your time and engagement into these sessions. Coming Friday, on 8th August 2025, let's tune in for an inaugural session of Panchadashi, the new text we have taken for study. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om. Thank you. Thank you, sir.